Is it reversal? Is it this candlestick reversal? This one, the last candlestick from the day before, you mean? This one? Yes. You could count it as swing high, reversal, or even an ascending signal candlestick. Because it was completed after two descending ones, and it's empty after two white ones, and the longer shadow is the lower shadow, and it's empty too. So it is giving us an ascending signal, and you see that you've had an uptrend after that. Hi. Thank you. So is that clear, Mr. Arifi? And at the moment, today, you see that you've had an uptrend. So the best time was 2:30 in the morning because the candlestick was just starting to form. And you could have waited for the little fluctuations to be over, and then you could have started your buy order. You could have put your take profit in your pivots, and you could get 127 pips of profit easily. Excuse me, how are you, Mr. Abdullah? I'm doing fine, thank you. Okay. The next question, please. I don't have any further questions. So, did you understand what you should do? You are a long-term trader. So, you could open an account at the beginning of the week and close it at the end of the week. Or you could start a daily trade and put your take profit and then go. So you have to do your analysis in your daily time frame and put your take profit based on the daily time frame. And the daily and 4-hour time frames are almost the same. They're very similar, but you weren't allowed to analyze the hourly time frame. Excuse me, please mute yourselves. Please mute yourselves. So you could put your take profit in the daily time frame, but don't analyze the hourly time frame because it would just make you confused. I have another question here. You said that at the beginning of the market at 2:30 a.m. At 1 a.m. the market is going to start. So is it better that we consider the Friday's candlestick, which is the last candlestick from last week, or should we wait until the first candlestick from Monday is completed and then do our trading based on that? What kind of trading do you want to do? Are you going to do long-term trading or mid-term trading? I want to do mid-term trading. Okay. Oh no, I mean yes, mid-term trading. Okay, so the first thing that you have to do is that you have to start trading on Monday. So when it's Sunday, you have to find the market elasticity of that week. You see, the weekly candlestick here is an engulfing candlestick. It tells me that I'm going to have an uptrend. You see, this candlestick was completed inside the pivot here. I'm talking about this one. What is this? It is completed as a descending one. Yes, but when was it completed? Inside the pivot. So it's an engulfing candlestick. It means that I'm going to have an upward movement this week. So let's move on to the daily time frame. The candlestick from Friday was completed as an ascending one. It's empty. So completes the weekly one that we just analyzed. So you have two confirmation that this week you're going to have an uptrend. So you can start your buy order. So if you want to start trading on Monday, you have to look at your weekly time frame. So you have to check that on Monday and Tuesday nights. After Tuesday night, you shouldn't look at your weekly time frame, and you have to just check the daily time frame. The daily chart. Yes. And you see, today is Tuesday, right? Until tonight, you can still analyze the weekly time frame and get your signals. But if it's Wednesday, you can't analyze the weekly time frame anymore because most of the week has passed. So you have to analyze the daily candlestick. So it's Tuesday today. So this is going to be closed down tonight, exactly like this. So it is completed inside a pivot, right? Yes. So I have to check this and see if it's completed inside a pivot or not, and I see that it is. So I don't buy here. Have no right to buy at this point because there's a 50% chance of an engulfing candlestick. So I put a buy stop here so that when this when this pivot and this shadow and this body here is open, this will be activated. So I will gain my profit at this area and then exit. So you have a candlestick that looks like this. Monday night, this candlestick was completed like this, and it gave me a very good ascending signal because the lower shadow is long and the shadow is longer than the body, the upper shadow is smaller, it's empty, it has gone further than this neck here. So I know, and I also have no pivots on the way up until this area, so I know that it's going to go up until this area. And we have pivots here. It has a very minor pivot there. So I will wait to see if it breaks the pivot or not. If it does, I'm going to buy again up until the next pivot, which is my swing low pivot there. Is that clear? Yes. The blue lines are your weekly pivots, right? Yes, but I'm just talking about the swing low pivots here. The daily pivots are your candlestick pivots there. So if it's Monday, if you want to start trading on Monday, it means that you're analyzing your chart on Sunday night. You have to analyze your weekly candlestick and your daily candlestick both. But if it's Wednesday, just look at the daily candlestick, not the weekly anymore. When a weekly candlestick is completed inside the pivot, can we say that 100% it's going to return or not? Or is it 50-50? It's 50-50 because this candle has been completed inside a pivot, and there's a possibility that the next candlestick goes further than this. Because you have a descending signal and it's white, there's a 50% possibility of decline. But another 50% possibility is that because it was completed inside a pivot, it could go up. So if you draw your Fibonacci here, you see that the price here has gone further than the 61 level. So you have to get the confirmation. How reliable is this engulfing candlestick? So where's the 61 level? The second one is your swing look pivot. Third is that the candlestick was completed inside the pivot, and fourth is that the candlestick that has started to form has most of the strikes from the top. And fifth is that the candlestick was 2/3 of this candlestick, or 1/3 of this candlestick, has been engulfed. So when that happens, it's another confirmation for us that this candlestick is going to be engulfed completely. But you have to be very professional to understand this last confirmation. But based on your Fibonacci and pivots and your swing low pivot, and the fact that it was completed inside the pivot and most of the strikes were from the top, you can get this confirmation that this is going to be an engulfing candlestick here. Is that clear for you? Yes, thank you. But still goes back to the candlestick subject. If you practice that a lot, you will be successful and you can get this. In a buy order, in a 4-hour time frame in the euro dollar chart, if you take a look at that, excuse me, can you hear me? Yes, I can. I said that before the class was started, I was buying on the euro dollar USD with a 0.05 lot size. Is that okay? Yes, that is good. Is that clear? And also, I drew the Fibonacci chart here, and I said that it's going to reach the 50 level or 61 or 78 level. No, your chart here is going to be an uptrend the whole week. You see, let me show you the chart. This is euro dollar chart. Mr. Sadeghi, don't answer this. Mr. Sharifi, what do you see in here? Mr. Sharifi, are you here? Are you in the class? Can you see the chart? I am here. Yes, and I see the chart. Okay, so what do you see in the chart right now? So we have a reversal candlestick, and the previous one was a reversal candlestick. So it's a reversal candlestick, but it wasn't completed inside a pivot. No, it was completed inside a pivot. You see that? Let me locate the pivot for you, and it's a very good reversal candlestick, a very powerful one. Are you talking about this one? This candlestick here. It's a yes, it was completed inside the pivot. So if you draw your Fibonacci, it reached 61 level and it's returning. Excuse me, I can't hear you well, Mr. Abdullahi. Oh, my voice? Is it better now? Yes, I can hear you now. Okay, so this is your 61 level Fibonacci, and then it has returned. And it has given you a very good buy signal. And the third one is that it was completed inside a pivot. And fourth is that you see that the swing lows here are being moved. So a swing low here has been completed here, and the next one has been completed above the previous one, and it has opened this neck here. So you have a buy trend here. And based on your candlestick, you could have also interpret that you were going to have an uptrend. Please wait a moment. Do you see my screen right now? No, I don't see. I just see a unicorn. Do you see it now? Okay. Sorry, my internet connection was weak for a second. So I was explaining that you have a very good buy signal based on several factors. Your candlestick has given you a very good reversal one. You have two swing low pivots here. So that is one of your confirmation. The swing high is one of your confirmations. Your second one is your swing low pivot. The third one is Fibonacci 61 level. Fourth is that the swing lows have been completed above each other, so you have an uptrend. So based on your daily time frame and your weekly time frame, the candlestick that was completed last week was a swing high candlestick. So this week I'm going to have an uptrend up until the pivot that I have, and the pivot is right here. It's almost in this area. In your daily time frame, this is a pivot base here. Can we please locate the weekly pivots again? Let me delete this tool here. There you go. Okay, so we have another pivot below the one that you just highlighted. Can I have access, please? I will give you access right now. Do you see my pointer now? You click on the screen. All right. Okay, this one. You see, we have another one here. Isn't this a pivot? Yes, that is an open-close candlestick. So it's a pivot. So you consider this one as your pivot. Yes, I considered the maximum one, but you have another pivot below that. That's completely correct. That's completely right. Thank you. You're welcome. And the number of the pips is around 30 pips. There's still 30 pips left, but if you draw your Fibonacci, let me ask you a question. Why has it retraced between 23 and 38 level? Because we have many pivots between 23 and 38 level. Yes, I have always told you that between 23 and 38 level you have many resistances and many pivots. So I have one pivot here on the way. I have to locate my pivots. This is my 38 level Fibonacci. I have another pivot. So this is for tonight, this 38 one. I have another one in here, almost in this zone. It's your 50 level. And you have a swing low pivot here and another one there. You have two swing low pivots in this area. You have an open close candlestick. So the maximum ones for this week, excuse me, I think there's one on 61 level. Yes, but I want to know what the precise location is. And excuse me, if we draw a trend line from the swing high up there, the two swing highs that we have up there, it overlaps the 61 level. Yes, exactly. So I think that the price is going to reach that area and then come back. Yes, but it depends. If news is published, it could make this process faster. But you have a lot of distance here too. Now that I'm just looking at it, I think that this could happen next week. But we have one pivot here, a swing low in here, and a candlestick base in this area. So I think the maximum location could be here. So we put our take profit uh, in the long-term trading in here, and in the midterm trading we should put it there. But right now we have an uptrend, and you can buy, you can still buy and can get very good buy orders. So you did that, is that clear for you? I have a buy signal here and it was a very good signal. So that's that. Mr. Sadeghi, do you have any questions?
خدمت عرض کنم که نه دیگه من
No,
فقط
thank you.
همین یوروسی بود
My
که
question was in
پرسیدم
Euro
ازتون
USD chart that I
بگم فقط
asked
یه
you.
یو اس سی اچ اف
Can
هم
we
ما
please
کلا
move on
خیلی
to the
خیلی
USD CHF chart?
خیلی پیگیرش
Because I
میکنیم
was following that chart
ریزشی
for a
بیشتری
week,
خیلی حس
and I
میکنم
think that we're
من
going to
من
have
سلام
a
گرفتم الان دیگه
descending spike. Now that I have sold
میخواستم ببینم
with
شما
the
نظرتون
zero point 3, I have
خیلی با
gained so
مارکدار
many profits. I wanted to know if you think the
چیزی گفت
same
من
thing or not.
کردم
Yes,
دیگه وقتی
exactly.
متوجه شم تاییدیه‌شو کردم
So I was following this chart, but in euro you could trade more easily and safely, and you can gain
احتمال
more
میدید که
profit.
این
So
کلیت
is there a
اینجوری بشه
possibility that this is going to decline? Not right now. You have to exit now because the main pivot is here, and you also have a trend line here, and this is the trend line zone, and you have candlesticks and pivots there.
برگشت بخوره
So you say that there's a possibility that it's going to retrace there? Yes. But for long-term trading, I'm not sure. You have a very powerful pivot here. So it could send it up completely. So your dollar is safer. You have to trade on the chart that is safer for you and gives you more profit. Any more questions?
استاد این
Excuse me.
خدمت عرض کنم که اگر ما بیایم همین خط روندی که کشیدید
The trend line
خط
that
روند رو
we
از
have
روی
drawn
پیوت
here,
پایینی بذاریم
if we draw it from
در واقع تا
that pivot from
که
the
قبلش
bottom
اینجا
there,
بوده بعد الان شما
you see,
آپدیتش کردید درسته
for example, it was there before, but you have
خب
updated it,
قبلا
right?
اگه
Yes,
اینجوری بود در
exactly.
واقع
It has
این شکونده
a
پولبک
pullback
زده
here.
اومده پایین حالا
So it
اینو شما
has had a
آپدیتش
pullback
کردید
here and it has broken this. Have you updated it? Yes, I
این
have
آپدیت شد
updated it.
بعد میشه خط روندی که
So it
شما
has been
خودش رو کشیده
updated,
بعدیش میشه این
and the
ولی
next one
اینجوری
is here, right? So if it goes
وقتی که
further than that, there's a possibility of a pullback and a decline, right? If it goes further than that, it's going to reach this place. So if it goes further than that, there's a possibility of a pullback too, right? Yes, completely. You're going to have there's a possibility. But right now, you have to exit at this area. Don't take this risk. You have to wait to see if it's broken or not. If it does, you can trade again.
یعنی من انداختم یه ذره ازش رد شده بعد تایید بشه دیگه کاملا دیگه
But
بعد بتونه
when I drew the
کندی
trend
بسته
line,
بشه
it went further than that, but you have to get the confirmation, right? Yes, you have to wait for the candlestick to be completed. Okay, so let's move on to the scalp trading and analyze the candlesticks. Let me take a look at the charts to see which one of them is better. Okay, let's move on to the Dow Jones chart. You've had such a trend today. Is it the gold chart? Yes.
استاد من
So excuse me,
قبل اینکه اینا پیدا بکنید
before we move on to the scalp trading, I started buying orders in the silver too.
آره
You
اسپردی
see,
شما
in the
من با
silver chart, you have a
اسپرد
very wide
هم دیگه
spread.
20 دلار
I
بوده با
used the
800 زدم البته همون اولش فقط 7
0.05
دلار
lot size for that. Uh, you see, the
بالاتر میاد
silver
آره
price is going to come up to here,
بذارید
up
من
until the
الان حدود 20 دلار رسیده
526. So I have about $20 of profit right now. Okay.
فرمودید تا کجا میاد
So you
استاد
said that up until where it is going to come up?
15 ممیز 296
15.296.
نه یه خورده چیزه
No, it's a little
14
bit.
ممیز
Do you mean 16 point? No, because you have a pivot here. You have an open close candlestick. So it's
15 ممیز خورده
15.932. Okay, let's move on to the scalp trading. We want to analyze the candlesticks.
الان کی
You see,
کارت
so what do we
درست
have here? What chart is that? This is a Dow Jones chart because it has
اوکی
so many
نگیرید
fluctuations. Should we start trading too? You could, but be
نه
careful.
خب من همون چارت های معمولیتون رو میارم
I No, I'm not going to
ریسک
trade
کنید
with you. I'm not going to take the risk. Okay, yes, that's better. So
درست
this is your pivot, and the price is reacting to it. So let's check the market. This is the market watch. You have to keep an eye on it. So based on the 30 minutes time frame, this is a swing high candlestick and it is giving me a descending signal. In the 15 minutes time frame, it is giving me a descending signal, but it wasn't completed inside the pivot. So it's a continuation candlestick and it has been performed. In the 5 minute time frame, I have to wait for it to be completed. In the 1 minute time frame, I don't see anything. You see, in the 1 minute time frame, you have to memorize this. I can't teach you this. You have to memorize this pattern. When you see this that are inside the previous candlestick, you know that you're going to have a downtrend. So memorize this pattern. I call it the waterfall trend because there are a few candlesticks that are next to each other and they're completed inside a bigger candlestick. They cause a downtrend. So the price has to react to this pivot here. And you see the fluctuations? And this is your swing low pivot here. Okay, so how was this candlestick completed? It's engulfing, right? Because it was inside the pivot. It's a 50-50 candlestick. Yes, it was completed inside the pivot, so it's engulfing. And now it's doing its work. Because the market elasticity is downward, the engulfing candlesticks don't need to be necessarily performed. Maybe 50% of them, maybe they could engulf 50% of the candlestick and then decline. So be mindful of the market elasticity. I'm waiting for a good signal from a candlestick. But right now I don't see anything.
استاد یورو یو اس دی رو
Excuse me, in the euro dollar chart
من با 500 ملت زدم خوبه
that I have used 0.05 lot size in it, is that good? Yes, that is good. You see, you have a pivot here, so the price has to have a reaction here. So I'm waiting for the price to reach this. Because it's the first collision, it is probably going to have a reversal. So this is a risk. Because I'm doing the trade opposite of the market elasticity. And I have a spread here too. So if it goes further, it is going to decline up until this area, and you can buy again here because you have another pivot here that is more powerful than the other one. So there's a possibility that it's going to reach this point and then come back. You see, the pivot is exactly here. One minute later, the candle is going to be completed. When in the 5-minute time frame there's only 1 minute left for your candlestick to be completed, you have to exit because it's going to have many fluctuations in the last minute, and it is going to determine what your candlestick is going to be. So we have to wait for the 5-minute candlestick to be completed. I'm not sure why it's like this in the Dow Jones chart, that we have to wait a few seconds. The pivot is powerful, so probably it is going to go up and it's going to get completed up there. I think in this area it's going to get completed. If that happens, it's going to be a swing high candlestick and it's going to cause an upward movement. Why did we have a reversal here? The reason why was that we had a swing low pivot here. So the next candlestick has to be completed. It's going to be a swing high candlestick and cause an upward movement. So if this is swing high candlestick, I will put my stop loss there. So the next candlestick has started to form. So there's a possibility that it will come down and then go up again, because whenever a candlestick is completed, it's going to engulf part of the previous one and then go up. These are key points that you have to memorize. And I'm teaching you all of these on the charts so that you will learn them practically. It is declining towards the pivot. No, you see, I told you that there's a possibility that it will retrace. Usually when a candlestick is completed, the new candlestick engulfs parts of the previous one and then goes up. This isn't something that always happens. This isn't a rule, but sometimes it happens, most of the time. For example, this candlestick in here has started to go up from the middle of the previous one. But this candlestick in here, you have to be fast. This is a swing high candlestick, right? It's going to cause an upward movement. So how long is it going to go up until this pivot? In scalping and candlesticks, you have to be fast. You shouldn't be slow. Because if you're slow, it's going to do all of its movements and if you don't catch it, you're not going to be able to trade. So this is our pivot. If it reaches this area, I'm going to have to exit. And you have to also check the 15-minute candle time frame. So now it has reached this, so I'm going to exit. If it comes down, I'm going to start buying from the bottom again. Because what is this one? It has Fibonacci, right? You have to draw the Fibonacci to see how long it's going to continue its movement. It's on 38 level right now, and it has reached this pivot here. So if it reaches the 23 level, I'm going to start buying again. And I'm going to keep an eye on the market watch to make sure we're not at the end of our 5-minute time frame, because when the price is at the bottom here, it's going to produce a swing high candlestick and cause a decline. Can you please repeat that? You see, in here, when you want to take orders based on this candlestick in your, for example, 5-minute time frame, you have to take a look at the market watch to see how long it's left for you to take orders. If it's just 1 minute left for it to be over, and your candlestick is getting completed here and it has a shadow here, and after the 5 minutes is completed, the shadow is right there, it's going to produce a swing high candlestick. So the next candlestick is going to go down again. So if it's completed like this, it's going to get completed inside the pivot. So there's a possibility on engulfing candlestick. So we should wait and see what happens. So be careful. I'm going to analyze every single candlestick that is completed here and take orders based on them, so that you learn them completely. So you have to be very fast. Don't doubt your answers. When I ask you something, answer it fast. The rules are always performing. When it's completed inside the pivot, there's a possibility of an engulfing. So when your pivot is open, you have to start buying after that. If it doesn't, you shouldn't start buying. So my 1 minute time frame is going to be completed soon. So if it's inside the pivot, it's engulfing, right? And it's going to reach 23. Yes, exactly. If it opens it, it's engulfing. Keep an eye on your 15-minute time frame. It's going to get completed right now. So if the 15-minute candlestick gives me this signal, it means that I'm going to have an uptrend. But there's a possibility that the next candlestick declines and then goes up again, or produce a shadow. So I have to keep an eye on the 5-minute time frame. Excuse me. You see, the candlestick here is completed. It is completed inside the pivot. So it is declining here. So you have another pivot here. There's a possibility that it reaches this place and then retraces again. So if I want to buy, I have to buy at this area, or if it reaches this area, because I have pivots. So it has reached the pivot and it reacted to it, and then it went up again. Mr. Sadaqi, you can ask now. I said that in the 15-minute time frame, the candlestick that has a long shadow and a small body, I have seen that usually when that candlestick is completed, the next one is going to engulf half of it and then continue its movement. Yes, exactly, that's correct. So if I draw the Fibonacci, you see that it has engulfed 50% of that candlestick. That is correct. So it has reached the pivot. I can start buying here. And it has shocked the price. And it has gone up. So in the 15-minute candlestick, what do I have? Let me delete this. What do we have here? You have to be fast. It doesn't matter if it's wrong. Is it a swing high candlestick or is it engulfing? No, you see, take a look at it. Be careful. It's swing high. Exactly, it's a swing high candlestick, so it's going to send the price up. Don't be afraid. The shadow is long. The pivot was completed inside the pivot. You have Fibonacci and it's performing, and you also have a trend line, and that is your confirmation. So don't be afraid. Don't doubt it. Fear means loss. Excuse me. The 3 swing lows that we have been completed above each other. So that means that the elasticity is upward. Exactly. And we're at the bottom of the trend, so it's going to go up. Exactly. So this is an ascending signal for me up until the pivots. Where are the pivots here? You see, the entry point gives you you can get that based on the candlestick, and the exit point is based on your pivots. So where's the pivots? One of them is here, and another one is right there. This is my swing low pivot. So I have to exit at this point and then wait again to see what signal the candlestick gives me. So where should I put my stop loss? It's below this candlestick, the swing high candlestick, because it's close to this one. If this area is open, it's over and you're going to have a decline and a downtrend. I put an emphasis on this. Where should you put your stop loss? If you are putting it based on your swing high, you have to put it below it. But you shouldn't do this. You shouldn't, when your price reaches this area, you shouldn't put your stop loss here, because if this area is open, it's going to be opened and decline from there. So if your stop loss is here, because it's the lowest price in its own trend, if this is open, you are going to have a decline. So unless this swing high here is not open, your analysis is reliable. But if this is opened and gone past, it's not reliable anymore and it's expired. So if you start buying here, for example, I can take a buy order in this area, but I put my stop loss there so that if it declines suddenly, I don't lose. So if it comes down, I know that based on the swing high and the Fibonacci, I'm going to have an uptrend, and also based on the swing lows. But if we have a decline, it has ruined your uptrend and it has faded it out. So I have a downtrend. So if the price goes up in this area, if I open a buy order, I put my stop loss in this area, because if it is going to go past this area from the top, it is definitely going to go past this area as well. So these are very important points. It's really important where you put your stop loss. I put it here because my pivots are here, but the price hasn't reached this place yet. I'm at this area now, so I have to put my stop loss below the swing high candlestick, because it's open. If it's open, it's going to be faded out and we're going to have a downtrend. So it doesn't mean that your analysis was wrong. No, your analysis was correct, but the uptrend became a downtrend suddenly. It means that your uptrend was faded out. But your analysis was not wrong, because you had an uptrend. But sometimes the trend has to change, and this is where the trend changes and a new trend is formed. So we said that this candlestick was completed inside the pivot, right? So this is engulfing. So we should wait to see what signal this candlestick is going to give us. So in scalp trading, based on every single candlestick and pivot, we should make decisions. And in scalp trading, we usually use lower lot sizes. We should use we should use heavy lot sizes to get better profits. You see, in the candlesticks, in scalping, you shouldn't, in your scalp trading, you have to use a heavy lot size. But you have to be very professional in your candlesticks and pivots. But if you use small lot sizes, the little profits that you gain is going to get more. because you could take 100 orders at once. So we have 2 minutes until the 5-minute candlestick is over. So this candlestick is probably going to reach this place as well, but you shouldn't worry because my target is up there. Let me adjust it. You have spreads here. So you can put a distance between them so that the spread doesn't ruin it. Because probably the spread here is going to be hit here. So you should put your stop loss and you should put it precisely. And you should pay attention to your spread too. The spread shouldn't make you lose money. Excuse me, can we say that when the candlestick reaches the pivot, it is a pullback and then it goes up? Can you please repeat your question? I said that when a candlestick hits a pivot and then it engulfs it, there's two candles here, and I have paid attention to this point that sometimes when the price breaks a pivot, it gives us a pullback, or sometimes when it reaches the pivot, it goes up. So I think it's exactly what's happening in here too. It is engulfing just more than one candlestick here. Yes, exactly. Mr. Sadiq, I didn't understand what you said. I said that now that I'm looking at the charts, I see that after the pivot is broken, we're going to have a pullback and then we're going to have a retrace. Or sometimes the pivot resists. And the engulfing candlestick engulfs two candlesticks, not just one. For example, in here it has happened too. He means that the engulfing candlestick could happen in one candlestick on three candlesticks. An engulfing candlestick could engulf several candlesticks, not just one. That is possible. So when a candlestick is opened and it's big enough, it could engulf three candlesticks like that. So that is possible. You got that? Is that clear? Yes, I got it. So the engulfing candlestick could engulf just one candlestick or three candlesticks. You see, in here, this candlestick is completed. What signal is it giving us? It's an ascending signal, right? It's a bullish candlestick. So it's ascending, right? But it's not reliable that much because the shadow is not inside the pivot. You see, in candlesticks, we say that it's reliable when the shadow is the long shadow is completed inside the pivot. That is when it's reliable. Is that clear? But in here, the shadow was not inside the pivot. But it was completed inside the pivot, this pivot that we have here. What pivot are you talking about? We don't have any pivots here. You mean this? Yes. The tip of this one. No, it's not powerful enough. You can't consider it as a pivot because the pivot was around this area. You have an open close candlestick here. But if the shadow was completed here and the candlestick was a little bit higher, it could have been a lot better and it was a lot more reliable. But yes, now it's declining. Yes, because the shadow that you have here was not completed inside a pivot. It's not reliable. It can't cause any movements. So this is a very important point. Reversals or swing high candlesticks are reliable when they are completed inside a pivot. If that happens, they're going to cause a great movement. All right. We have to wait to see what is our next candlestick going to give us. So based on this candlestick that has a shadow here, we're taking orders based on that. Because in the 5-minute time frame, I don't have a good buy signal. But I have opened my orders based on this candlestick and I have put my take profits in the chart. So unless this shadow here is opened, this is reliable. So now the 5-minute candlestick is over and we have to see how the candlestick gets completed. We know our targets in a 15-minute time frame here. Please mute your microphones. Mr. Sadeghi, I can hear you speaking. Okay, so it reached the previous pivot again. But this is my target. My main pivot is right there. So it's on the 38 level right now. And it's third collision. It's your second or third collision. So what is this candlestick? It's a reversal candlestick. Yes, but it could be considered as a swing high candlestick too. So it's going to cause an upward movement here. But we have an engulfing candlestick there. No, it's not completed as an engulfing candlestick. You couldn't say that. Most of the time, not always, but most of the time, you have a little bit of an engulf, like right here. But out of 10, around 3 of them engulf the candlestick completely. Alright, so in your 15-minute time frame, this is a swing high candlestick, right? It has a long shadow, but it's inside the previous candlestick. So it means that it's unreliable. So we have to consider this long one here. So I'm going to have an uptrend. Okay, any questions until the candlestick is completed? I think for a short time, we have to start scalping in the demo version to see if we're going to lose or gain money. If we have about 80% of profit, that means that we have learned it. And we have to try to make less mistakes because the scalp trading is very sensitive. And we have to use a heavy lot sizes, so any little mistake that we make makes us lose money. So I think if we do that, that will be good. Yes, exactly. When I teach you something, you have to practice them. That is something that you have to do because that is how you learn. You have to experience the market yourselves. I'm just teaching you the methods, but you have to experience it, and that is the only way you can learn it. But what you said is great. Because we have a pivot above that, that is why it's stuck here. If we didn't have any pivots here, it was going to go up easily. Is it possible that this reversal candlestick is going to be faded out? Yes. The reason is that there's nothing definite in the market. You see, in the 30 minutes time frame, you have a swing high candlestick. Is that correct? Yes. So in the 30 minutes time frame, you have a swing high candlestick. But in 3 time frames, we have an ascending signal. In the hourly time frame, it wasn't completed well because the shadow there is longer than the one that is next to it. You see, in the hourly time frame, I don't take this risk to take any orders. So I'm going to exit. This shadow here is longer than the two sides of it. So if I want to get a signal from that, it means that I could have a decline. But in the 30 minutes time frame, I have an ascending signal because the lower shadow is longer than the upper shadow. So I'm going to have an uptrend. But because the hourly time frame is more reliable than the shorter time frames, when I have this here, you see, when it's like this, it means that I'm going to have a decline. So I won't take this risk. So please be careful. You see, I have checked the hourly time frame here, and based on that time frame, I have a descending signal, and I told you that it's more reliable than the 30-minute time frame. But in the 30-minute time frame, I have an ascending signal. So I'm going to reduce my orders. It has reached my first take profit, so I'm going to close down my order. And it has also reached my second one. Now that it has reached my take profits, I'm going to stop trading to see what signal we're going to have in the 5-minute time frame. You see that it has declined. So we find the entry point based on the candlesticks. And we find the exit points based on our pivots. So I'm going to wait to see what signal the 5-minute time frame is giving me. It's almost 2 minutes left until it's completed. It's 1 minute left. Okay, let's draw the Fibonacci to see where it has retraced. It had retraced on the 50 level. So it's going to reach the 23 level, right? Yes. So let's see what the new candlestick that is going to be completed gives us. Let's move on to the euro dollar chart. You see we had a buy signal here and the pivot is right there. So it's going to be broken and it's our third collision, excuse me. So the price is going to go up. Excuse me, can you please tell me where I should put my euro dollar, in my euro dollar chart, where should I put my take profit? Well, one of them could be here, but this is going to be broken because it's the third collision. So your next take profit should be here in your 50 level. 1.3723. Let's look at the Dow Jones candlestick. Right, so the 5 minute time frame is going to be over. I think it's going to be completed as a swing high candlestick and cause a decline. Okay, yeah, it was completed as a swing high candlestick. So we can take a risk here and open a buy order. And put your stop loss here, but we should be very careful. We have to exit with very little pips because we're trading opposite of the market elasticity, because based on the shorter time frame I have a buy signal, but based on the longer time frame I have a sell signal. So this is kind of a risky order because of the descending signal that I have, and it was very weak. So the retracement of 50 level is 23 level, because in the longer time frame I had drawn the Fibonacci as well, and in the 5 minute time frame I have a downtrend. The 61 level is at the top of the chart. So I put my take profit here, exactly on the pivots. So this order here, if this candlestick here is faded out, your analysis wasn't wrong. The candlestick was faded out, not your analysis. Probably the spread is going to be hit. Okay, so the candlestick here was faded out. Where's your next pivot is on 61 level. Excuse me, what is your take profit is on 61 level. So in euro dollar chart, I told you that you can't buy again here. So if you start buying, because because some people don't have enough information and they're not experienced enough. I told you that the third collision is going to break it. And some people could start buying in the pivot. But I see that this is my third collision, and the swing lows are giving me the confirmation that I'm going to have an uptrend. Is that clear? So please keep these in mind. I told you that the next take profit was on 61 level.
استاد صداتون
Excuse
واضحه.
me, can you hear me? You have a swing low pivot here too. Hi, can you hear me? Yes, I can hear you.
میگم تو میخواین اینو صحبت کنید کاری لازم.
I wanted to tell you something, but it's not related to this. Okay, wait until this is over and then you can tell me. So keep this in mind. The little distance that is here, it doesn't matter. Sometimes it's too close to your pivot and then it retraces. But it has almost reached it. You can't say that it hasn't reached it. You see, for example, in here, we have an open close pivot. So we can say that it has been reached. And if it goes further than the 61 level, our next take profit should be at the 78 level, which overlaps a swing low pivot. Okay, so did you get that completely? Are there any questions? No, thank you. We just have to practice. Yes, and you have to experience this. You have to practice. I'm teaching you this, but if you don't practice yourselves, it's not going to be useful for you. In the 1 minute and 5 minute time frames, start to take orders based on every single candlestick and the techniques that I taught you. You have to trade so much that you are fluent in this. But you should be fast. Don't be slow, because these candlesticks are going to get completed fast. The euro has, if the euro dollar reaches this, you can start buying again because you have an uptrend. In the daily time frame and your weekly time frame, you have an uptrend. So up until Friday, you're going to have an uptrend. So if it declines a little bit, don't be afraid. Excuse me. Those are all corrections, little corrections. Yes, those are just the little fluctuations. Don't be afraid by them. Please go on, Mr. Sadeghi. I wanted to ask you that in euro dollar chart, can I keep my order in the long-term trading until the 61 and 78 level? Yes, you totally can. So how do we know it's going to reach 61 level? Yeah, I wanted to check that too. Let me see. Because it's opposite of the trend. Yes, don't consider the 61 level. No, I wanted to know what your reason was. Is there any specific patterns you work based on? And pivots, I have this pattern that is AD equals CD, and it usually works out for me. And it's usually on the 61 and 78 level. And now if Mr. Abdullahi checks it too, I will put my take profit where he tells me to. It could be either on 61 or 50. You see, it's going to reach 61 level eventually. But in 50 level, it's going to have a little decline. So why would you do that? You see, I take a buy order here. So the thing that I do is that I exit here because I have a pivot. And then after it goes past that, I'm going to open a buy order account again. So if you want to open a buy account here and wait until the 61 level, you're going to gain profit only once. But if you do it my way, I gain profits 2 times. Because when it reaches the 50 level, it's going to retrace to 38 level. So when it reaches that, I'm going to close my deal, and after it goes past that, I'm going to start buying again. So that is the long-term trading. And I don't mind the little fluctuations. But the little fluctuation and retracement are about $1. So the best situation is that you have to exit at 50 level, and you have to start buying again at 38 level. Yeah, that's exactly what I've done. I put my take profit below 50, and then I'm going to exit there. And when I get the confirmation there, I'm going to wait until 38 level. Yeah, that is the best thing you can do. And excuse me, I think it's going to reach 61 level after 38, right? Yes, it is. I told you that it's going to reach the 61 level eventually. No, I'm telling you that we're going to gain the profit that is between 38 and 50, and then after that it's going to reach 61 level. Yes, exactly. And you can do something else too. You can do both long-term and mid-term trades. Yeah, I got that. Thank you. Any more questions? Thank you so much. Thank you. And I closed it and I waited for it to decline. You see that it has a decline here. In the take profit in your silver chart, the precise take profit will be here between 23. Let me locate the pivot first. Yeah, it's right here. Do you have a swing low pivot? So I moved on to the 1 minute time frame immediately, and you see that we have a sideways trend in that time frame. Yeah, you have a sideways trend because you have a partial Fibonacci there. Yes, exactly. So I closed down my deal completely. You see, this is the maximum location it's going to get. Because the spread is wide, I'm not going to trade anymore. Yes, you shouldn't risk this little pips here because your main pivot is right there. So you have to exit this area. Yeah, I did exit. But with a 0.05 lot size, it gave me, I lost $8. So the spread is very wide. So the littlest mistake that you make makes you lose a lot of money. Yes, I'm looking at it like now, right now, and it's 3 pips. It's around. You have 3 pips of spread. And in the gold chart, there's a worse, there's a better situation. Yes, it's better. You don't have any spreads. So in the euro dollar, we can sell, right, in the hourly time frame, opposite of the trend. No, this is your third collision, so it's definitely going to break it. You see, selling here is risky. I'm not going to take any sell orders here. The best situation is that you should not trade opposite of the market elasticity. So selling is risky. You could even gain profits, but it's a very risky trade. You see, when I'm trading equivalent to the market elasticity, I'm not worried if I lose money because I know eventually it's going to go up. But you see, you look at this and you only see the 38 level of Fibonacci, but I see many more criterias that tell me not to do that. But I told you about the swing lows, Fibonacci, and all of the confirmations that you have. And your weekly signals and candlesticks, they all give you have an uptrend. These are little fluctuations that happen, but at the end I'm going to gain profits. But what we see in the euro chart is a confirmation for an uptrend. So you can take a buy order here.
الان بفهمید
Uh, in here, the decline that we've had was because of the pivot. And based on your Fibonacci tool, it's something that you can't see visibly what's happening in the market. But based on technical terms, I've told you that the 38 level here means that you've had a pivot before. So this tool helps you.
استاد فرمانده
Excuse me,
یک از سوال
I have a few questions.
اسکلپ رو
First is that in scalp trading,
کار بکنیم
when we want to do scalp trading, in what currency pairs should we work on to have better fluctuations? It depends on your currency pair and the time.
حالا معمولا چه ساعتی در روز
So,
استفاده
what times during the day are better for scalp trading? You see, let me see how I should put it.
مثلا بازار چطور
You see, for example, for JPY chart, the best time is 3:30 or 4:30 until 6 in the USD JPY. So it depends on your market and your currency pair.
زمانایی که
So
مثل
the
دوتا مارکت
times
با هم یکی میشن
where two markets are the same,
اوپنشون
the
که
open and
زمانی که
close
مثلا
points of them are the
به
same
خاطر ساعت مثلا خیلی هیجان بازار زیاد
because
میشه
there is so much tension in the
اون
market.
تایما صلاح نیستش
In
که
those
اسکلپ کنیم
times, it's not good to do scalp trading, right? No, you see, when a market is just opened, you can start scalp trading. But the rule is that whenever your price is stuck between two pivots, that is when you should start scalp trading. And you have to sell when it reaches the top pivots and buy when it reaches the bottom pivots. So you have to be careful you don't have a sideways trend. For example, in the euro dollar or pound dollar, 2:30 a.m. or 3:30 a.m. you have a sideways trend. And it's useless. But in JPY, because the market has been opened in 3:30, you have many fluctuations and there are the first collisions with the pivots, so the rules are performed.
درسته
And so you have to be more professional in your scalp trading.
حالا من اگر مثلا چون
So
تجربت بیشتره
because
من
you're more
میتونم
experienced than
بگم
us, you
چه
know
گونه
that
ارزایی رو
what
بیشتر
currency
استفاده
pairs are
بکنیم یک
better
از
to
سوال
work on.
که بدونیم چه
But
جور
we're going to
ارزایی رو
learn
بیشتر
that
استفاده
ourselves
بکنیم بیشتر
based on
توسط دلار
practice.
و
And we're going
میتونه
to
شد
know
یه چیزی که
what currency pairs have
معمولا
the
استاد
better
تمرین
fluctuations.
ما
But
برای
generally, you had said
کردن
before that
بهترین
for trading,
زمانی
the
که
best
صرف
time in the
کردن
day is
4 از 2 تا 6
around 3 or 4 p.m. until 8 p.m. Yes, I
این
had told you
دلیلی
that
داره
before.
یعنی
Is there
که
any specific reason for that? It's based on
آها
the
همین
American
بازار
market
امریکا 3 و
because you have
جان
fluctuations. There are the most
آها
fluctuations
پس
in
3
that
بعد
time.
از ظهر تا 9 شب
So 4 p.m.
4
4:30
بعد از ظهر
p.m.
تا
until you have to start you have to be online on the market on 4:30 p.m. and start trading on 5 or 5:30 p.m. And you have to exit
این در
maximum
تریدای
9 or
روزانه
9:30 p.m. So these are the daily trading, right?
میان
Yes,
متوجه
your midterm
من
trades.
تریدای
And also,
خدمت عرض کنم که بلند مدت
what
هفتگی
about
رو
the
داریم
long term and weekly trading?
یعنی شما گفته بودید که
Based on the
بین دو
weekly
شاخص
time
ستاره
frame.
گفته
You
بودید
said that on Mondays and Tuesday, right? You have to analyze it on Sundays and you have to open your Mondays on open your trading on Mondays and put your midterm and long-term take profits.
درسته بعد استاد ما بعضی اوقات مشاهده میشه تو
And
بازار
sometimes you can
تو
see
بعضی
that on the
چندتا
market,
شرایط خیلی
please wait a second. You had asked that
نه هفته ای دیگه
Uh,
هفته ای دیگه
don't make a mistake. The
روز
last
جمعه
take profits are going to be reached on Fridays, not Tuesday. I see that you make that
بسیار عالی بعد
mistake. So
بحث
don't make that
دیگه
mistake.
بازار که
And
اتفاقی که
also,
افتاده
I see
اینها
that a lot in the market
کندلا
that
شادوهای خیلی بلندی زدن
sometimes the
که
candlesticks have
برای اینکه
very long
بخواد حد
shadows,
ضرر رو امکان داره بزنه
and
ببینیم چه
sometimes
چیزی
they reach our take profit. So how do we? No, that is because you have put your take profit wrongly. You have to first find the best spot for your take profit and then put it there. You shouldn't stick it to the tip of the shadow. Put it a little bit below that.
به خاطر اینکه خیلی اتفاق
Because this
افتاده
has
قبل
happened a
از اینکه
lot to
اینترنشنال
me.
شما داشته باشه
Before
اینجا
this
گفتم
class today, I was working on the demo
میچسبوندم اونجا
and I would put
حالا
my
الان
take
این من
profit
کار
there
کردم
and
که
it was
اشکال
hit by
نداره
the
اشکال
shadow.
نداره
So I should
من
put it a little bit below
شبیه
that,
بقیه
right?
ادامه میدم
Yes, exactly.
بسیار عالی
That's
خدمت
great.
شما
So keep this candle in mind. This
دیگه
candlestick
هفته
is
باشه
this 5 minute candlestick is going to be completed as an ascending one,
بازم استاد
and it's
ببین
reliable
دقیقا
too.
همین پیوت کندلی که
You
الان
see,
دیدیم
the
پیوت های
candlestick
قبلی هم
pivot that
بالا
we
بالا
have here is above the
کشی کرده
previous ones
بالا
too,
یعنی
right?
همون صحبتی که شما کردی همون
It's
قانون
exactly what you said, the rule
کرده
that
بالا
you talked about. Yes, that's correct. So, any more questions?
ممنون بعد
Thank you.
میگم اگه